You are tuned in to Big Boys and Body Slams, three goofballs that talk about wrestling. Throwback and current day pay-per-view reviews. Follow us on Twitter at BB&BS Podcast. And while you're at it, check out our merch store and our Patreon page. All the links will be in the description below. Enjoy the show.
What is up, Hulkamaniacs? And thank you so much for tuning in to a live edition of Big Boys and Body Slams, coming to you at twitch.tv/ of course, Big Boys and Body Slams. We just finished up the Elimination Chamber. It was a show. It ended on a very, very strong note. But before we get to all that, because we have a lot, I will start off by saying my name is Zach. Right next to me on the stream, an arm's distance away, less than that, we have Kyle.
AEW, hey, rest in peace, Pedro Morales.
Okay. Yes, thank you. And we have Luke.
Hello.
And
me. Yep.
On mic, we got cameraman Colin.
Hello. Hello, Colin.
Hello, Colin. And thank you for being with us again to run the camera.
Thanks, buddy.
On this fine evening. As always, we are Big Boys and Body Slams. You can find us on a multitude of different platforms on the interwebs. We're on Patreon. I'll tell you about that in a minute, actually. We're on Facebook at Big Boys and Body Slams. Facebook.com/Big Boys and Body Slams. Slam Chat is our wrestling group chat on Facebook that is lit right now.
AF.
We've got so much going on over on Slam Chat that you guys are going to want to be a part of that. You can find us on Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, anywhere that you want to listen to just about anywhere that you want to listen to your podcast.
And we're coming live on Twitch.
True.
And we're live to you right now on twitch.tv. Hope you guys like the Twitch. We got some people in the chat.
We got Greg, we got Joe. So far, that's all that's told me. Hi.
Awesome. Hey, I feel like Kyle's a little hot. Is Kyle a little hot out there? Do we need to turn Kyle down a little bit?
Every day, baby.
Is Kyle clipping? Okay, we're good then. Hey, guys.
Hey.
What did you think of the Elimination Chamber tonight?
Well, that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. I will say, right off the bat, pretty okay show. I do think it fell a little bit flat of some of its previous shows. I feel like WWE was kind of on a hot streak with their live shows, and that did cool off just a tiny bit, at least for me tonight, but it was not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Some of it was a little bit forgettable maybe, but overall I was pretty pleased.
Well, I think that they used this pay-per-view to kind of advance some storylines and not so much tell the big, long feature.
This was
stories.
like definitely a February show, like through and through.
Kind of what we were talking about last week. It wasn't a total throwaway show, but it's still kind of, some of it was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll get into it in a second, but before that, I want to tell you we're brought to you today by patreon.com/Big Boys and Body Slams. I say it every week, folks, but it remains true. People look at Patreon as a donation platform, but it is not that in the slightest. It is a membership platform, and when you go to Big Boys and Body Slams Patreon page, you are not just giving us money and expecting us to keep it and hoard it. We're going to be using it to improve the show, and you're going to be getting things in return, things such as your name in the credits of the video version, your name read aloud. That's our top tier there in the audio version of the podcast, which everybody will be listening to, whether they're video or audio. And my favorite, which I mention every week, Big Boys and Body Slams at the movies.
At the movies.
For the $8 level, and even $1 a month, folks. $1 a month is getting you early access, except for shows like this that we're doing live. Those will not be early, but any other show we do will be live or will be one day early at the $1 level. So check it out at patreon.com/Big Boys and Body Slams. It will be worth your time and effort, and we think your money. Now, with that being said,
God, you're getting good at this.
Thanks.
You're getting good.
Should we get into Elimination Chamber?
Let's do it.
2019.
All right. So the pre-show started at 3 Pacific. I don't know why that's important. You probably know that if you're watching the show. But I was setting up everything. So for once, I'm going to shut my mouth.
And know your role.
And know my role. And I'm going to let these two gentlemen over here.
But mostly Kyle.
Take the mantle and talk about this pre-show match.
Mostly
that
me.
we said.
Well, and we should say, too, that there were some just couple promos before this match. Because the match was like 30 minutes in, right? To the pre-show itself. So we got Strowman being cringy, doing his thing.
Mojo Rawley doing some terrible stuff.
Yeah, and then Alexa Bliss pretending to do a selfie promo when she was really being filmed by a production company.
Oh, I said I was going to shut my mouth, but I
opened that bitch.
That cracked me up so bad because it was clearly a production camera. And her arm, she was just clearly holding her arm out like this because when she was moving, like the phone, I put in air quotes, wasn't moving with her body. So it was obvious for multiple reasons that this was not a selfie promo, but they tried. I remember seeing something like this with one of the Cologne brothers a couple years ago, or it was probably 2017 when they first really started doing these, and it was cringy then. It was cringy now.
Well, I just don't get what the need is to fake it. What's the problem with them
just
taping it?
Do a backstage interview. It's okay. Yeah. I'll shut my mouth now and let these two take it away.
All right.
Do you want me to go?
Go ahead, buddy. What was the pre-show?
So the pre-show was Akira Tozawa versus Buddy Murphy for the 205 Live Cruiserweight title.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, these guys should not be on the pre-show.
Ever.
There was enough time on this pay-per-view to let them do their thing on the pay-per-view. I think you could have had a tag team match on the pre-show with the Revival or something. I don't know.
Well, especially since this pay-per-view ended real early.
Yeah. It did. Okay. I don't know what I wanted to add there. Just so you guys know, I'm not 100% on my game right now. I got the good old kidney stones right now. So kind of had a hard time watching the beginning of the show. I was in a little bit of pain and discomfort. So you guys should donate to Patreon to make me feel better.
And, of course, go back and watch this Tozawa Murphy match.
From what I saw, I was only in and out. I watched probably the last 5 minutes of the match. Kind of was when I got finished up and was able to kind of sit and watch. And worth your watch, I can say, just from what I saw. I'll probably go back and rewatch it myself just so I can really experience it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the match starts off with some big chops by Tozawa. Murphy kind of no-sells him. And then they kind of keep chopping around. They go out to the outside. Murphy goes for a huge chop on Tozawa. He ducks. Murphy chops the post, and that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, with his fingers.
Yeah. that looked crazy. There was a head scissors in the ring by Tozawa, baseball slide then by Tozawa, suicide dive caught by Murphy, and suplex by Murphy on the outside.
Gorgeous.
So we got back to the outside. Tozawa's selling injuries, trying to get back into the ring. He's acting like he can't make it back in, but he's doing all right. We cut back to Caleb Braxton randomly. Well, they said they're going to cut back to Caleb Braxton, who's going to be with Kofi Kingston, and they don't do it because things aren't working. So then they go back to the match, and there's some head scissors submission by Tozawa in the ring, and then Tozawa throws Murphy out of the ring. There's a super kick by Tozawa. So Tozawa, cool kick from the apron and a missile drop kick. And now we're back to interviewing Big E and Xavier Woods in the background. So that's great. You're cutting away from the match. It's really good.
From an awesome match.
Yeah. Made no damn sense. A suplex in the ring by Tozawa. Shining River by Tozawa. Murphy kicked on the middle rope. Murphy holding Tozawa high on the ropes. Tozawa reverses it into a Hurricanrana. There's a crossbody by Tozawa, but then it's reversed for a great sequence for two. Huge chops by Tozawa in the ring, and then some huge clotheslines by Tozawa. A bridging suplex by Tozawa. Then we have a missed Chiquiendo kick or something. I don't know what I wrote. And then there's a great reverse Hurricanrana by Tozawa.
He got an inverted one?
Yeah, from the backside.
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple suicide headbutts, is what I call them. I don't know what Zach actually calls those. From Tozawa to the outside. You know when he runs and torpedoes out?
The torpedoes, yeah.
Yeah, I call them multiple suicide headbutts, but that's all right. Then Murphy's hanging up on the ropes, and there's a senton from Tozawa who when Murphy's on the ropes. A huge jumping knee by Murphy. Reverse Murphy's Law to a roll-up for two. Some crazy submission sequences by Tozawa, and then a Murphy's Law for the win. And Buddy Murphy wins the Cruiserweight title. Sorry, I'm not as good as Zach is.
Hey,
no, he's gotten really good.
Very well done.
I loved it, Kyle.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, this match was really good, guys. That's all I have to add to it. I didn't give it a star rating, obviously, because I was in and out. I just have to say that Murphy's Law, what a damn move that Murphy's Law is, man.
Well, it comes out of nowhere. I mean, he's so swift with it.
Yeah, it's so smooth.
I think the big thing is with Murphy is he's just so smooth with every move. Like he had the we kind of touched on it, but he had a sequence there where he kicked him to the ground. He kicked him in the legs to get him on his knees, and then he put a huge knee to the face, and then a suplex right after that, and it just all looked so smooth in one fell motion. And Buddy Murphy, ever since he went down to the cruiserweights, has just been killing it.
Yeah,
and you got to think he'll be holding that into WrestleMania.
Oh, easily. I mean, when you look at the 205 Live. When you look at the 205 Live, kind of like the landscape of it right now, it's hard to see who's gonna finally be the one to take the belt off of Murphy. I mean, there's a few guys you can maybe throw out there, but they got to do some building on 205 Live. And in the meantime, Murphy has been a great champion. What did you guys think of this match?
So I just want to add to that. I think Buddy Murphy might be the best cruiserweight champion since Neville.
Oh, I buy it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they've had another guy that's been this dominant and this good for a very long time.
What about Enzo?
Consensual penis, my friend.
Oh boy.
I gave it a 4 1/4. I thought this match was really, really good. I probably would have given it a 4.5 if it wasn't cutting back.
There was no reason to do that.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that. There was enough time to do it after the match. Just kind of thought it was dumb. But I really liked it, so about 4.5.
And it kind of just shows you like the amount of respect they kind of give. I don't know why that they give these cruiserweight matches. They're not going to cut in any other match. They're not going to cut to an interview, especially on
Not
the
on a
main show.
pay-per-view.
Right. So, I mean, give them the respect because they are putting on a show, and Tozawa looked great, too.
You're right, he did.
I gave this one 4 stars. There was that, you mentioned it, that senton spot where Murphy was draped over the middle rope.
That was my favorite spot.
Yeah, so
match.
Tozawa senton with his back and hit Murphy's back while he was on the middle rope, and that was a sick spot. And they were just, I mean, you want to talk about the best representation of strong style, like on the roster? I mean, maybe you can give it to NXT too, but the cruiserweights, they just hit the crap out of each other, man.
Yeah.
They really do.
And I've said before, regarding the cutaway, I've said before, with it being a network exclusive product and not as many eyes naturally being on it as probably should be, but that's a different topic. I'm fine with it for the most part being on the pre-show of these pay-per-views just because it's a good way to get the crowd hot right off the bat. And again, it's people that a lot of the people in the crowd might not be as familiar with. However, it's really hard to excuse why they would cut away in the middle of this match. This was something you could have put on the pre-show, this interview, anytime, or even on the main card. This was a pretty short show. And I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like that.
How haven't they got the point yet? I mean,
I don't know.
What's the last bad cruiserweight pre-show match you've seen?
What's the last bad cruiserweight match on any pay-per-view? Even going back to the Super Showdown in Australia and stuff when Buddy Murphy won the title. It was great.
Yeah. So as far as the rest of the pre-show, were you viewing that, Zach? Were you still setting up during the rest of the pre-show?
Yeah, I really didn't start taking notes until the main show starts.
I mean, from what I saw, there was Kevin Owens. He had a promo in his car.
Oh,
hey, should we ask the cameraman what he thought about this match?
Yeah. Go ahead, Colin.
I'd say it was about 4 1/4. Them cutting away to the New Day really hurt the match in general. It'd probably be a 4.5 if it wasn't for that. You could argue it was the second best match of the night.
I could buy that.
You know what?
Yes.
That's a good point. Thank you, cameraman Colin. You are the man.
The man.
Which we do appreciate Colin helping us out on these live shows.
And everything he does in Slam Chat, he is the MVP.
He is actually the most active member in Slam Chat, so you guys should all give him a running for it.
Woo!
Thank you. Kevin Owens cut a really nice promo from his car.
And he didn't like pineapple on pizza, and he is right.
Yeah, he had a he wrong as hell.
Kevin Owens ain't never wrong.
He called Finn Balor his friend. Just something I
He also
noticed.
put Becky Lynch over big time.
Yeah.
And he's just like in his car saying, my rehab, they're going to say it's going to take another month. So that means we're getting close, fellas. Maybe
We're getting
WrestleMania
and,
return.
it really seems like we're getting babyface Kevin Owens coming back. So
How do
I'm
you
on
feel
board
about that?
Well, they're going to cheer him anyways. When you hear that ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, the first time, he's going to get
Nice.
And they made this mistake with Seth Rollins when he first came back after he injured his knee. And that first time he came back, they were
Huge
going for
pop.
that heel reaction, but he got such a big babyface pop that it was soon. It was not long before they turned him face. And I think it's something similar with Kevin too.
I got a bone to pick with a guy in our group, our little chat right now.
Uh-oh.
Greg, how do you not like any pizza?
I see that.
What is
Greg.
wrong with you?
Greg, we got to talk, man.
Pizza is America's food.
Greg.
It's Mexico's food. It's China's food. It's Japan's food. It's Canada's food.
It's the world's
food.
It's the planet's food.
That's right.
God.
Dan O'Brien is the planet's champion,
And
and,
it's the
pizza
food.
is the planet's food. In fact, we just ate pizza thanks to cameraman Colin. Again, cameraman Colin, what do you think of pizza? Is it the planet's food?
It's the planet's food, man.
Thank you,
Greg, you see that? Colin likes the planet's food.
Greg. We love you,
Greg, I
but
know
pizza
you're-
is the planet's food.
I know I'm your favorite, but you're a damn liar. That's all I got to say.
All right. With that being said, should we get into the main show?
Yeah, let's get to the main show.
It starts with a very typical WWE
Video package.
video package. I have nothing to say about it. It was just a WWE video package. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It just was there. We're going to open up right away with the chaotic and crazy Women's Elimination Chamber match. This is 6 teams of 2 for the inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team Championships.
Not really the inaugural.
In this era, though.
Okay, I was going to say they kind of forgot about the women's tag team champions from like the WWF.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
Different promotion.
Wrestling didn't exist back then.
Yep.
So
Oh, true.
the only thing that counts is the E period on. Attitude Era on is the only wrestling that really happened. And in this match, we have Sasha and Bayley versus Tamina and Nia Jax versus Carmella and Naomi versus the Iconics versus the Riot Squad.
Wait,
versus
who's in the Riot Squad?
The Riot Squad in this instance is Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan.
I'll live.
The Iconics, of course, are Peyton Royce and Billie
you
Kay
good, pal? You good?
versus Sonya
I'm
Deville
okay.
and Mandy Rose.
Thank you.
And this is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, which are going to be, I guess, co-branded titles, which is fine because the women's division isn't really that numerous that you can have a single brand have the title. So no issues with that at all. Bayley and Sasha and Sonya and Mandy are going to start the match off. There's a nice little double team crossbody by Bayley and Sasha. So Sasha's kind of holding on to Bayley, and she crossbodies Sonya and Mandy outside. Back in the ring, there's a backbreaker for a Mandy near fall. Mandy and Sonya ram Bayley and Sasha into the cage in stereo. Sonya misses a kick, so does Mandy, and Mandy actually gets her foot kind of somehow stuck in the chamber wall. Yeah, and a really nice looking neck breaker off of that by Bayley. I liked that.
Looked like a torn ACL.
Yeah, kind of did. The Riot Squad is in next. They go right after Bayley and Sasha outside. Sarah Logan throws Sasha's arm into the pod screen, the pod door, I guess. Sonya and Mandy and the Riot Squad are brawling in the ring while Bayley and Sasha take a break. They sell outside.
There's quite a few of those like Kane Money in the Bank breaks, like where they get hurt and they're gone for like 10, 15 minutes.
There was a lot, like really a lot in this match.
To be fair, it needed it though, because this match, like you saw some points where there was like 8 or 7 or 8 of these women fighting at once, and it was like giving me anxiety.
Kevin Dunn was
notes.
back there sweating bullets, baby.
Oh, the production struggled in these first few matches for sure, and especially in the main event, they had a few moments too. Where was I? Oh, and then I noticed right here they're on their knees fighting, like Sonya and Mandy and the Riot Squad. Like 5 minutes into a match, they're doing another on their knees punching each other spot. It reminded me of Bossman and Midian from last week.
Oh God! Don't say that.
Not that I want to.
Don't bring that up.
Nope.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm gonna start Mandy slaps Sonya and like knocks her off her feet. That was a stiff slap. And then Liv gets killed with a kick by DeVille. And then Bayley comes in to get the pinfall, and it's a near fall. Bayley takes out everyone at this point. There's a Tower of Doom, a little bit messy looking.
A lot messy looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
This leads to the Iconics coming in next. They go right for pinfalls on everyone. There's double team kicks to Mandy by the Iconics. There's a knee to Bayley for an Iconics near fall. Sasha tries to fight back, but the Iconics get the upper hand. They are in control for a long time here, by the way. The Iconics hold Sasha and Bayley against the cage wall and kind of like, this is your champions. This is who you want to be your champions. And they mug them to the crowd. There's a forearm to Bayley by Billie Kay. A rolling senton over the rope to Sasha and Bayley outside by Peyton Royce. That was pretty cool, except for the fact that Bayley took the brunt of her knees, of Royce's knees, right to her face.
Let's be honest, that was just a senton onto Bayley.
Oh, and then you can see like in the replay, the slow motion replay, like Sasha reached her hand out to like try and shield the blow, but man, Bayley took the force of that blow for sure.
Bayley was taking some bumps.
Oh yeah, she was definitely. We get back into the ring for a near fall after that onto Bayley. Mandy and Sonya get sent up into the cage wall hard. Carmella and Naomi are in now. Dual Bronco Busters, and then they switch sides and do it again. And then Carmella climbs up the cage. Kay picks her up and tries for a powerbomb, but then Carmella hits a messy looking Hurricane Rana. And then back in the ring, there's this. Yeah.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah.
Do you think Carmella's Hurricane was messed up a little bit, maybe by some problems at home or something?
We're not going to get into that.
Oh, because
Kyle, I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought Carmella Graves was a little sloppy on that, but
the future Mrs. Corey Graves.
And to be real, Corey Graves was toned down big time this show.
Yeah, he was, but he was still. I mean, obviously, I guess we kind of have to address it now. The allegations going on that Corey and Carmella are having an affair is one thing, but I will say he was a professional and he did his job, and
oh boy, did he!
He did his job.
He did the job for Carmella, if you know what I mean.
Back in the ring, there's a split-legged moonsault on Naomi to Sarah Logan for a near fall. There's a crossbody to by Mella to Liv, a code breaker by Liv to Peyton, a fisherman's suplex to Mandy by Logan, and then Sonya spears Sarah Logan. Really nice sequence there. Mandy and Naomi are going at it. There's a big hip attack to Mandy by Naomi. It was from the top rope, which was crazy. Like the top, not the turnbuckle, but the rope itself.
I do love that little rivalry continues.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love it. I think that it can be just about them now. You think the Usos can kind of stay out of it.
Yeah, kayfabe cheating.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fine. The Iconics double team roll up Naomi for the pin, and Naomi and Carmella are the first team eliminated. All the other teams kind of like stand up and surround the Iconics, but Nia Jax and Tamina come in just in the nick of time. The Iconics go and hide in a pod, and then Nia and Tamina just rip the doors open and drag them out, and then they beal the Iconics each into the cage wall over and over and over by their hair, just being big and strong. Then they come in, double Samoan drops, and the Iconics are gone. A bit surprised to see the Iconics as the second team.
I thought they had a good showing, though.
They did. They looked strong. They controlled.
Well, there was a point where they cleared the ring.
Yeah, they looked very strong.
I mean, it makes sense because they've been a team by far for the longest out of any of these ladies in this match. So it makes sense that they would look really strong. A bit surprised to see them eliminated second, but I do agree. Good showing.
Look good, other than their screeching gets really annoying.
Love it.
Fair enough. There's a missile drop kick by Logan to Nia, and then a running knee by Mandy. And then that takes out Nia for a near fall. And then a double knee by Sasha to Nia in the corner. Just everyone kind of focusing their attention on the big girls here. Liv and Morgan climb up on a pod, and then they each hit a flying crossbody to like everybody on either side of the ring there. And there's a Meteora to Tamina back in the ring, and then a Bayley elbow drop, and then everyone jumps on Tamina, and she is pinned, and Nia and Tamina are gone. Now we're down to Bayley and Sasha and Sonya and Mandy. There's a Bayley to belly to Sonya. Mandy breaks up the pinfall. Mandy climbs up the chamber wall. She gets on a pod, but Sasha follows. Bayley joins, and then Bayley gets knocked down and gets slammed into the plexiglass wall, and then Sonya gets involved.
First.
Yeah, spine first.
On the like the metal connection.
And then Sonya gets involved, and she gets knocked down, and Bayley gets knocked down next. Oh, I forgot to mention, going back to Nia, she was taken out because she went through the pod. I don't know why I forgot to say that.
Sick. Yeah,
she went right through it.
She charged the pod, Sasha, right?
It was for Bayley, and she moved out of the way.
And she just completely rhinoceros that shit.
Yeah, so she was dead, which allowed Tamina to get taken out
phenomenally.
Yes, she did. She just crumpled into a heap and died. And then Sasha, so everyone gets off the pod after this point. Mandy throws Sasha into the corner of the pod super hard. Mandy hits the Angel's Wings. I'm sure she has her own name for it, but it's the Angel's Wings.
It's the Angel's Wings.
But Sasha kicks out on a very, very near fall. Sasha goes into the crossface using her foot as leverage, which was really cool. Not even the bank statement, just like her. It was kind of the bank statement, but it was kind of a crossface, but it was kind of like
using her foot.
Yeah, it was really a unique looking maneuver, as Michael Cole would say. At any rate, she taps, and Bayley and Sasha win the belts in 33 minutes. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good opener. It was a bit sloppy at times, and there was kind of just too much happening as well at times that kind of brought it down a little bit. It was really cool to have Sasha and Bayley obviously win the inaugural belts for this era of WWE. After the match, they did cut a really heartfelt promo. They were both kind of had tears in their eyes and were thanking the fans and saying how proud they were that this happened. Predictable, but that's not always bad. I give it 3.5 stars.
I give it 3.25. Mm-hmm. It was it started off so sloppy for me, but I really liked it. So I mean, it wasn't the best Elimination Chamber of the night or even of all time or whatever, but I enjoyed it. Honestly, Liv Morgan should have won just by herself.
Shut up.
Yeah, but whatever.
Shut up.
Oh man.
I bet if Liv Morgan was screeching around, you wouldn't be as pissed as you were at the Iconics.
Probably not.
Because when Melina used to do that,
good old Smurf tongue herself.
Oh, I just don't like the whole screeching thing. It's just too much for me.
Okay. I give it 3.5. Yeah, this got really good at the end. This got really good. It was nuts at first. Like the first half, really the first like 3/4 of it were just insane. The production crew couldn't even keep up with it. Not a ton of spots, and yeah, like I said, the camera angles were crazy. I just don't think they just shouldn't do a tag team chamber again.
I agree on that, actually.
How can you keep up with that? You just really can't.
Yeah, it's a little too much at times. And to the women's credit, they did manage to kind of hit all the spots they had to hit. Again, a few things were sloppy, but it could have went way worse with that many, people in such a confined space just kind of chaotically doing their thing. But for what it was, I thought it was all right. Cameraman Colin, what did you think of the match?
Give it to us, baby.
I'd say 3.5. The first half of it, there were some really bad botches and some bad spots, but they rebounded nicely. But anybody else think that Nia Jax was going through the other side of the chamber?
Oh my God!
It looked like she might have went through both sides for a second.
It looked like she was going to Forrest Gump and not stop until she got home, man.
She was just going to start rolling backwards. All right.
Well, think about it. Like at the most in this match, so 6 teams. At the most, there could be 12 people in this match. Not that would necessarily happen, but like even just 8 people in the tornado tag scenario is insane.
Yeah, it was wild. So. It was wild for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead, Colin.
I'd like to add that I think that the tag division for the women's actually has like quite a bit of potential after this match.
Of course.
I agree.
I agree. I think Absolution, or I guess Mandy and Sonya, and then the Riot Squad, and then you got the Iconics, you got the Boston Hug. I mean, other than Carmella and Naomi, you pretty much have 5 legit teams, and then you could probably find some more.
You could bring one or two up from NXT.
Yeah, I agree. Completely.
You could bring Candice LeRae up and sign Joey Ryan and have the world's cutest tag team.
True, you could do that. Mm-hmm. I will say, I think it's time for the Riot Squad to start winning every once in a while.
Yes.
Because they still have a lot of their heat which is good because they are a very good tag team, but they can only afford like so many like key losses after key losses after key losses. But there's still, it's not a lost cause for them.
We'll get even more into that.
At all. There's still plenty of meat on the Riot Squad bone. Just start booking them better, and you got a good first contender maybe even for those tag titles. Up next, we have Shane McMiz versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which Shane McMiz, of course, are holding.
And the Usos want to take Shane McMiz to the Uso Penitentiary.
The Chicago the Uso Penitentiary.
I was going to say, where they spent a couple hours recently.
Yeah, some slight legal problems for one of the Usos, Jimmy, Jay, one of them, but they got resolved in time for this match, thankfully. And before the match, Miz comes out first, introduces Maurice, and they're having another kid. So congratulations to Miz and Maurice, and then the teams make their entrance, and the match begins
like a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
Miz they also shouted.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, they wanted to dedicate this match to every single person in the Miz's family, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
His dad. He loves
his dad. Was he there again?
No, they didn't show him.
Because he was there at Royal Rumble, right?
I don't think he
wasn't
was.
there. He wasn't there tonight, but he was at the
I don't
Royal
think he was
Rumble.
there tonight. So Miz and Jimmy are going to start this match. Jay gets tagged in right away. By the way, quick side note, I'm going to do my best. I say this with every Uso match, I feel like. But I'm going to do my best to tell these two apart. That's all I have to say about that. Shane gets tagged in, tries for a coast-to-coast right off the bat, but Jimmy breaks it up. There's a sunset flip by Shane for a near fall to Jay, which was pretty nice. A back elbow, and then a double-team clothesline sends both Usos out of the ring. Jay first, then Jimmy on the other end. Miz comes in, kicks to Jay in the corner. Miz gets stunned up on the top rope. Jimmy comes in. Jay comes right back in. Double-team to Miz. Stiff clothesline to the Miz. A lot more double-team work here. The Usos are really taking advantage of the rule book here. A lot of rapid tags. Uso throws a towel at Shane.
When would the Usos take advantage of the rule book?
Never.
Not like two of them have been arrested in the past 6 months or anything, and Naomi was drunk driving, so maybe the whole family.
Good God.
Man, Kyle's on a soapbox tonight.
Yeah, no, you were all on the drama.
Shane gets tagged in after the towel spot, nice and angry and ready to fight. Hits a bicycle kick to Jimmy, which he might have broken his ACL on that one because he really had to. I haven't seen Shane's legs go that.
Broken his ACL.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Zach.
You're welcome. I got my PhD. Bicycle kick to Jimmy, DDT to the other Uso, and then there's another one to Jimmy for a near fall. Shane finally hits the coast to coast.
Yeah.
He goes up like he's gonna hit the other Uso with it, but he gets super kicked this time and is dead. There's a splash to Shane, but Miz breaks up the pinfall, and then Miz gets tagged in. There's an accidental to Uso. Samoan drop by Jimmy to the Miz. Jimmy misses a corner splash and gets DDT'd by the Miz for a near fall. Outside of the ring, Miz clears an announce table, and then the Usos take each other out with an errant and accidental suicide dive. Jay gets put on the table. Shane up top, elbows Jey Uso through the announce table.
Beautiful.
From the top.
I love that every single time.
It looks great every time. Back in the ring, we get some dual roll-ups for near falls, a super kick to the Miz. Miz gets his knees up on a splash for a roll-up near fall. He hits the skull-crushing finale, goes to pin Jimmy Uso, and he rolls over and pins the Miz himself, and they win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in 14 minutes. And after the match, Miz and Shane are arm in arm, and they are dejected, and they sad
boys,
and they sadly leave up the entrance ramp. Not a super fun, exciting match. It was all story here, kind of just building up to what's going to happen to Shane and the Miz. I liked story wise how you kind of left the door open, just a crack for if you're going to have Shane eventually turn his back on the Miz, if that's where they're going. I'm not saying it is, but if that's where they're going.
Well, they swerved us. We expected him to retain.
Yeah, I did at least.
How about you, Kyle?
They swerved me big time.
Nice. And again, you kind of left that door open with, Shane being the one who's going and putting his neck on the line all the time, and for the Miz to kind of lose it in hokey dokey fashion, kind of leaving that door open. The match itself, I give 2.75 stars. Wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination.
First of all, can I sneak in there real quick?
Yeah, please.
We have a guy in stream chat right now. His name's Jordan Kelly. I want to wish him a happy birthday today.
Happy birthday,
Jordan.
Oh, hold on. Colin, go ahead. Wish him.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Love you.
Happy 21st birthday.
Oh, he's getting old, man.
I know.
I just remember when he started walking.
So yeah, 2.75 stars for me. What did you guys think of the match?
I also gave it 2.75. I liked it. There was just some spots where I was just a little confused. Jimmy and Jay, they really confuse me sometimes because they're switching.
They gotta have like different attires or their names or something.
Or one needs to wear like a yellow wristband and the other wear like a pink one or
something because it was difficult. I will admit.
Maybe we should just take the time to pay attention and really master them.
They should wear different.
What am I thinking?
I do have to say, and you guys kind of give me shit for this all the time, but I am a huge Shane McMahon mark. So I love anything Shane McMahon. He's jumping around doing crazy stuff that I wish I had the guts to do. So props on you, old man Shane. But 2 3/4, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, 2 3/4. I also enjoyed it. They swerved us with the ending. Two pieces of conversation here. Okay. We actually had a lot of people watching this with us today.
It was a full house.
We had like 10 people in the house.
It was a full house.
So that brought some good commentary. One thing, okay. I did pull this up during the match. If you have not seen it, if you want to watch it again, I really recommend it. SummerSlam 2000, Steve Blackman versus Shane McMahon, I believe for the Hardcore Championship. Shane McMahon climbs like 30 feet in the air on the scaffolding and gets kendo sticked and falls into, the
abyss.
Yeah, falls to his doom. Pull that up on YouTube. Watch that. It is insane. But also, one of our buddies here, Robbie, who you may be hearing from soon.
He will be.
A tease.
He said, The Miz and Shane really couldn't have had more polar opposite careers. Like, Miz has been there. He's been Mr. Consistent for, 15 years?
Something crazy.
Something like that. Hasn't taken too many crazy bumps. He's just always been there, done his job, told what he's told to do. Whereas Shane, he's just the daredevil, and he's been there, he's sparingly used every once in a while. Yeah. But does nothing but take crazy bumps. Like, there is never, ever, ever a Shane McMahon match where he doesn't do something nuts.
Nope, he's got to do it.
Never. So, I mean, it's just kind of funny taking a look at those two and their journeys through wrestling, and, obviously one being the son of a billionaire, but the risks that one will take versus the other is really outstanding.
And they both had longevity, too.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Exactly.
We're all on a 2.75 bandwagon. Cameraman Colin, 2.75?
Oh, let me get you. Go.
I'd say 2.5.
Okay.
I will say that Shane, though, his
Meltzer over here.
punches look the best that they've ever looked.
I agree, actually.
Great point.
I agree.
I wouldn't expect him to look this.
He didn't throw a ton of them, which is probably for the better, but they didn't look as spastic as they usually do. So maybe he's been practicing.
as much
Stiff.
of a half-inch miss as
Yeah.
or not half inch, like a half foot miss.
I am a little disappointed they dropped the belts, though. I thought that would have been fun to keep it going at least another month, but
Yeah, I thought Fastlane would be where they would drop it, but we'll see what happens.
And there's a little promo later that kind of gives something to look at for the evolution of that.
Up next, we have Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley in a brief interview backstage saying that they're going to win.
Yeah.
And then we get right to the match, which is, oddly enough, a handicap match for a championship. It's going to be Lio and Bobby Lashley, the current champion, versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. There's a stomp to Finn by Lashley right as the match is starting, a running forearm to Finn, enziguri to Lashley, and then Finn goes up top. Lio Rush distracts him, and Finn sends Lashley outside. Balor chases Lio around the ring, and then Lashley catches him and drives him into the barricade, kind of like a spine buster into the barricade type maneuver. Lio Rush is tagged in now, stomps to Finn in the corner. Lashley tagged back in, Rush tagged back in right away. Abdominal stretch to Finn by Rush, and then Finn, in like a big man spot, just tosses Lio Rush to the side, which is kind of funny. There's not many guys that you can have Finn do a big guy spot to. He might be one of the only people on the roster that you can have him toss like that. So good on you for making that happen. Lashley comes in and just beats up Finn in the corner. A big Uranagi slam to Finn.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you
It was kind of like a palm slam because it wasn't a choke slam.
A chest choke slam.
Yeah. And then Lio comes in, misses a frog splash, and Lio wants to tag at this point, but Finn won't let him, kind of playing a little cat and mouse. Hits the double stomp to Lio, and then a sling blade to Lashley, who comes in. Both guys get sent out of the ring, and then there's a Tope-con hero to both guys outside by Finn.
That's my favorite
hero. And then back in the ring, a missile dropkick, coup de grace to Lio Rush, and Finn Balor wins the Intercontinental Championship in 9.5 minutes. Did not really expect Finn to win that in that short of a time frame. I was hopeful that Finn would win, but I wasn't really expecting it at all. So to see it happen the way it did was a super good surprise to me. And we're 3 for 3 for new champions. Obviously, the first one was a given, but the first 3 matches we saw 3 new champions, so which is an interesting way to open up the show. Post-match, Lashley throttles Lio Rush like Homer Simpson does to Bart, and then acts like he's gonna finish him off, but he doesn't. And then he comes back in and hits the palm slam again, and kills Lio Rush.
The what?
The palm slam, the Uranagi. And so anyways, I give the match 3 stars. It was a tiny bit short, but I marked out for the title change, so it gets a 3 from me.
So I'm going to give it 3. This was the right move to give back the belt because, first of all, Lashley should be in the Universal title picture. They've totally ruined his character, but if I was booking it, I would have Lashley as a bigger force. I wouldn't have him paired with Lio Rush. I would just have him dominating people, not doing anything with Sami Zayn's sisters. But
there was his sisters.
Oh, his sisters, yep, and Sami Zayn. But I really liked the match. I thought it was fun. I thought it was kind of fun that Leo did a blind tag and Lashley was upset, and that's what ended up costing him the match. So
yeah, no, I agree.
I thought
he got cocky.
Yeah, I think that was a good story.
And so Greg in the chat talking about how he's already predicting Lashley versus Leo in the pre-show of the next pay-per-view. Sounds about right to me.
No, he's saying it on Mania.
Oh, in Mania. It'll be at Fastlane. Pre-show Fastlane, I could buy that. But seriously,
You're the man, Greg.
And so I'm not going to forget about Luke. Give me your rating first, and then we'll go into what I want to say.
Sure.
Well, and Colin's rating.
And Colin's rating.
Colin's got to get 2. 2 3/4. Finn is awesome. I just wasn't very into it. I mean, how much has the IC title meant since Lashley's had it?
Not very much, but it would be nice to get a champion that could give it some prestige.
It was time. Yeah, it was time to get Lashley away from the belt. They need to start not from scratch necessarily. I think turning heel, being ruthless, and beating the crap out of Leo is a good start.
They need to hit reset.
But they need to build him a little bit. We're going into WrestleMania. He needs to have some sort of momentum, and right now he has 0. So yeah, giving Finn the title's the right idea because I can see Galloway. It's clear that he's going to be in the title picture at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, not Galloway.
McIntyre.
I always do that.
Man, what a TNA mark.
Yeah, TNA, dude.
Too sweet.
Too sweet. I'm disappointed in you for messing that up, but I love you for loving TNA like me, brother.
Love you.
Cameraman Colin, what did you think of that match?
Give it to us.
2.5 stars just because Finn won, and I think after the Universal Championship he deserved it, but too short, and it felt like a Raw match. I don't know. I didn't really feel like a big
dude. Too short, me.
Too short.
Yeah, I think, and kind of to transition into what I wanted to bring up, which you kind of addressed, is what's next for Bobby Lashley, and maybe to an equal extent, what's next for Lio Rush? And is he done on the main roster back to 205 Live?
That was something that also bothered me. He didn't wrestle very much. He's a good wrestler.
He's a super good worker.
I was going to say,
he's just so small.
Say good.
Okay.
He's great.
He's just so small.
I've just forgotten at this point.
No, dude, it's okay, dude. Next, dude.
Okay.
But wait, can we do one more? Fist bump.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. No, but that's the thing. I've forgotten how great of a wrestler he is because we haven't seen him wrestle, and I was like, okay, handicap match, we'll be able to see him show something off. Nothing.
And another thing is, like, I know people who have never really seen him wrestle, and they're kind of like, God, he's so annoying, and God, he needs to be off TV. But he's so good.
He's great.
He's really
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
I think. So can I answer my own question in 2 steps? I think Leo, you'll see him pretty much. I think, unfortunately, you're gonna have a blow off between Bobby and Leo, I'd guess. After maybe and Lashley's gonna squash him, and then Lashley's gonna go on to kind of be a monster for a while, hopefully, and he just beats people up. He kicks ass and takes names. Is what I hope to see from Bobby. Leo, Murphy needs a 205 Live Cruiserweight Championship matchup.
Colin's loving that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be down for that?
Yeah, I think for the Cruiserweight Championship, Murphy versus Leo would be amazing.
That would be a very good match.
At Mania, and not on the pre-show, that could steal the show.
Could you see?
It'll be on the pre-show.
I mean, this might be a little too predictable, and who knows if they have the chemistry. Could you see Lashley and Braun having a program?
Yes.
Yeah, I could.
Well,
it's kind of maybe what they're shaping up for.
Something like that. We'll see.
But the issue with that is, I think Lashley needs wins more than anything else, and Strowman kind of does too now at this point.
Right.
So it's kind of sending 2 guys that you kind of booked into oblivion head on for each other. I don't know if right now that's the best idea.
But I could see him doing it.
I want to throw something else out there. The other guys that we're going to get to that are involved in Strowman, Lashley, they need wins as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
McIntyre needs wins, and Corbin is not winning ever, really.
And but he doesn't need it, though. He is there. He is on this show to fulfill a role, and that is the mean heel who gets heat and loses to everybody.
Right, but
gets paid.
But if you want to make a match believable, if you want Corbin to be a believable challenge for Braun Strowman, you need to have him picking up some wins somewhere. Like...
I mean, obviously this is something we'll talk about more later, but do you see the Corbin-Strowman thing really going anywhere else?
Honestly, I didn't see it going past
Royal Rumble?
TLC, was that what it was?
Right.
I didn't see it going past TLC. And then I didn't see it going past the Raw the next night when Kurt Angle beat him. And then I didn't see it going past, then and then and then.
See, I saw,
here we are.
And I kind of see it as we have the kind of the Strowman, Lashley, McIntyre contingent grouping. I kind of see them each peeling off now after kind of a definitive-ish finish, I guess you could say, to the Corbin match a little bit later we'll talk about. But I kind of see all three of these guys kind of moving on to different things now.
Right.
Like, I think you're going to see Corbin maybe with Angle or McIntyre, one of the two. But we can get into all that.
They better, because there's just no incentive at this point for me.
Shall I move on?
Do it.
So Charlotte Flair makes her way to the ring after we get some footage of a little run-in Becky and Charlotte had at a house show last night, where Charlotte ended up with the upper hand and seemed to re-aggravate Becky's knee injury. Of course, Becky showed up. Even though she is suspended, she's a bad girl and she doesn't do what she's told. Sorry, she's the man. She doesn't do what she's told.
That's a bad
So she showed up and is worse for wear because of that. So Charlotte makes her way to the ring. She's being interviewed by Charlie. And she says that she got to humiliate Becky. And that's her favorite thing to do in the whole world. She loves doing that. She's being very arrogant, which draws a Becky chance. And says she'll be at ringside for the upcoming title match between Ruby Riott and Ronda Rousey. Not a lot to say about this promo. Just, heel Charlotte is the Charlotte for me.
Yep, just like her daddy.
I never want to see her as a babyface ever again.
Nope. No, I don't need to either.
She is so good in this role.
Also, her boob job is huge.
Okay.
She went and almost went too far.
You're just gonna
She's gonna pop it
address
again.
the elephant in the room.
Yeah, the elephants.
Bosom shots.
Bosom shots. This is our one chance in the show to say that.
She's rocking the schmedium
She
top.
went too far
with the
boob job. Yeah, it was like.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's crazy.
I mean, they are.
They're quite large.
They're big.
They went from regular
Voluptuous.
balloons to hot air balloons.
Yes.
Yeah, nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We're gonna pop again.
Thank you for that hard-hitting and in-depth analysis, Kyle. Shall we move on?
I am on one tonight.
Up next, damn, I'm having fun. Up next, we're gonna get Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship.
Compose.
Ronda comes out to the ring. She's dressed like Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat 11, who she plays in the game. Ruby goes right after Ronda.
Is it from a game or a movie?
The video game.
Oh,
she's lending her voice to the character of Sonya Blade in the upcoming Mortal Kombat video game.
Sidebar.
Yes, please.
She should just dress like this every time she comes out to the ring.
I kind of love her Hot Ronda thing, but this was a good look.
I kind of I like both because I think the Hot Ronda's cool because it's like paying homage to the legend. But Roddy.
But you know what I also liked? I liked her not having to adjust her bra.
Her spandex every
her
2 seconds.
Every 2 seconds.
Yeah,
yes.
that was nice. And she didn't have the face makeup. So.
Right.
Yes, the face
makeup.
makeup's the worst.
So Ruby goes right after Ronda as the bell rings, but gets taken down quickly. She rolls out of the ring to catch her breath. Gets back into the ring, gets judo thrown, gets a Piper's Pit, and then taps to the armbar in 1 minute and 45 seconds.
And
a squash match.
Anticlimactic.
I'm going to give it 1.45 stars for every second that the match went on. Or every, how long, you know what? At the minute, the match.
Round up.
1.5 stars.
Thank you. That was ridiculous.
I don't know where to rank it because for what there was in the match, it was fine.
Yeah.
But it was just too short. I had 2 written down. I think I'm going to dump it. I don't want to dump it down to below 2 though.
Why?
Because
there were 3 moves.
That's true.
Literally.
That's true.
A star for each move. 3 stars.
You know what? If this was in Tokyo Dome, 7 stars. So I'm giving it 18 stars.
All right, 18
no,
stars.
I'm gonna give it 1.75. Ronda looked great again. If she leaves, it's gonna be sad.
Sad days.
But you know what? Actually, with the stuff Zach's gonna talk about after the pre-show, maybe I'll bump it up to 2 because it was awesome.
Okay. 1.5, man. I mean,
all right.
How do you give that? How do you give it any sort of like, oh, what a quality match? They should have given Ruby. I get it. So this, when we talked about in ways, this was a throwaway, right? Like this was just to advance storylines. Poor Ruby, and you talked about this earlier. The Riot Squad just getting
the Job Squad.
Yeah, they're the new Job Squad.
Except for they're not embracing it as job.
It's
right?
super unfortunate because they're all really good.
They're all super good workers.
So Ruby just got 0 respect.
I had a feeling this was going to be a squash like this.
I didn't think it was going to be this
unfortunately, my feelings were true. Cameraman Colin, what did you think of this match?
Well, are we going to clump together the match and the after part into one?
I always kind of do.
So I think in this specific instance, I want to address what happened after next.
Well, yes,
give the match.
He's asking, do we give the ranking?
Because the match itself for me was like maybe 3/4 because there's nothing to it.
See, my rankings,
as
far as my star rankings, I only go to bell to bell. That's just how I do it, though.
Get 'em,
So
Colin.
I always do everything, kind of.
Okay.
And so if we do that, then I'd say 1.5 with after everything. But was Ruby Riott the right one to do the squash match?
No.
With Lacey Evans on the roster and everybody else on the roster?
No, well,
Was she
you don't
the
want
right
to
one?
squash Lacey Evans.
Why not? I mean,
well, okay, it was much. She had a great spot on this card, obviously.
No, that's not what I mean.
no.
But-
So it's a difficult position because you have to have a believable challenger for the title, which I mean, I don't know why Ruby Riott is anyways, because all she does is lose. But
Yeah, but you
it
don't
could have
wanna
been
hurt-
anybody. Mickey James. It could have.
Oh, it could have.
It could have been Mickey James.
Wait,
I don't know why
could
it
it?
wasn't.
Is Mickey on?
She's on Raw.
Okay, yeah,
She's with
yeah,
Alexa.
then it
Well,
totally
not
could've
with,
been.
but they're on the same roster. Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for Ruby Riott to get any momentum after this.
Yeah, this was rough, especially when
Garbage.
a lot of people she hasn't. I'm trying to think. Ronda hasn't had really like a squash in a while.
No, she hasn't.
On a
She hasn't had
pay-per-view.
She hasn't had a bad match, in a long time. This
I
wasn't
guess we should
bad,
address
but
the post match now, since we kind of
Okay.
alluded
It
to
was
it.
sick.
What, do you have a problem?
No, I was just saying okay.
Okay. So after the match, Ronda and Charlotte are kind of facing off in the ring, and then Becky comes crutching on ringside. She's walking with crutches. She rolls into the ring, a huge Becky chant here, and then she just starts beating up Charlotte with a crutch while Ronda watches on, and then Ronda gets the other crutch. They kind of act like, yeah, we're gonna do this together, and then nope. Becky just beats up Ronda with the crutch, busts her open because it was like the first or second
On
crutch
her
shot to
forehead,
Ronda,
yeah.
right to the forehead, and Becky is not holding back with these crutch shots.
No,
she
Becky
is
is
laying
going hard.
out. The crowd loves it.
Yeah, they're
I thought it was great.
bloodthirsty.
Becky was swinging these crutches harder than I swing the softball bat in a softball game.
It was awesome.
And she bloodied Ronda Rousey.
She bloodied Charlotte Flair as well.
She bludgeoned
She
Ronda
was Psycho
Rousey.
Sid out there, baby.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
nuts.
Softball queen.
So the crowd got to see Becky and see her being awesome, and security eventually escorted her out. And then
Which-
kind of something which is interesting on a pay-per-view.
Do it.
As you see Ronda recovering, Baron Corbin's music starts, and we go transition right into the next
And we're
match.
moving right along. But I do have to say,
Yeah.
we talked about this before. And Zach, before this pay-per-view even started, you said Becky Lynch before WrestleMania needs to get arrested.
And this might be it.
And that harkens back to Stone Cold.
Yeah.
So I completely agree. I thought this would have been a great spot for it. I mean, she was assaulting
She was
both
crazy.
Charlotte and Ronda and beating the crap out of them. And only like 2 security guards took her away.
Yeah.
As she's like laughing maniacally. It needed to be like 6 people. She needed to be fighting. Like she should have been relentless and would have never stopped had 6
I
people
agree.
not carried
I
her
agree.
away. So
I agree. But it is what it is. Maybe
digress.
maybe we'll get some more on Raw tomorrow. At any rate, Karen Van Colin would like to make a comment.
addition.
I'd like to say before this happened, I wanted the straight Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. But now I'm more than stoked to see a triple threat with Charlotte included.
Yeah, it did open.
Whoa.
I still want to see a
Hot
singles
take.
match, but it did kind of the intrigue is there.
It
for
made
me,
it
I will
okay.
say. Yeah,
It made it okay.
It made it less
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, the triple threat would have never been bad.
No.
I just think that the Becky Ronda match.
She
was the
deserves
one.
it to be a one-on-one match.
Yeah,
Yes.
So we'll see, and maybe it was to kind of open people's minds to
But
the
is that
idea
to
of a
make?
three-way.
Do you think that that's an explanation, to make Ronda look even stronger? I don't know, because we're not sure what the future plans are with.
Yeah, we'll
Rousey.
just have to see where it goes. And this could also set up like a number 1 contenders match at the next pay-per-view between Ronda or Becky and Charlotte. We'll see.
Do it.
As I said, though, this leads directly into the next match, which is a no DQ match between Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks for that. Corbin throws his vest at Strowman as the bell rings, and then Corbin hits Braun with a kendo stick, and then lodges it in the corner like he's going to impale and murder Braun Strowman. Baron avoids getting sent into it himself. He does this
Into his death.
He does this cute little under the rope, back under around the turnbuckle move he does. And then Braun gets the kendo stick and just shatters it over his knee. There's a shoulder block to Corbin. Goes to try again. At this time, Corbin is the one who's throwing the office chair. Throws it at Braun, who catches it. To be fair, he did catch it, so that was good. He back in the ring now. There's a running knee to Corbin, followed by a corner clothesline, followed by a big boot, and then Braun sets up a table in the corner, power slams Corbin through it. Before he can go for the pinfall, though, Drew McIntyre comes out with a chair in hand, and while Braun is kind of waiting for him to make his entrance so he can give him those hands, Lashley comes in behind him with a chair of his own, and they double team Strowman, eats a big Lashley spear, and then both sets of steps get set up in the ring. Strowman's trying his best to fight back, but he can't do it. By this point, Baron has also recovered and has kind of entered the fight as well. The heels bring a table into the ring, and then another. They stack 2 tables on top of each other. Strowman gets Claymore kicked, and then a shield bomb through both tables, delivered to Braun Strowman, allowing Baron Corbin to get the pinfall.
And
in 11 minutes.
I say, I've never heard 2 tables break that clean or that quick in my life.
No, there was no
hot knife through butter.
It was no resistance at all. Braun just. I'm surprised he didn't go through the ring.
That would have been amazing. But hard to repair.
So I was so overall, this was an 11-minute match. Somehow, it went 11 minutes.
Seemed quicker.
It was interesting because I almost would have promised you that somebody would have came out to save Braun. Kurt Angle would have been my first guess.
I guess, but you could make the argument Kurt Angle wasn't there.
Or you could make the argument that he knew he'd be running into his own
demise.
Yeah, exactly. So you can argue either one. You know, I was just surprised somebody didn't come in. No, like,
but
no refs, no. But I guess that was during a match.
Every once in a while, they allow like these big heel beatdowns to happen, and I mean, so they're going somewhere with this. So
we'll see.
Yeah, this match itself, I give 2.5 stars. There wasn't a ton that happened in it. I did love that shield bomb through 2 tables though, and I'm interested to see where this goes. So they do have my attention. Like I said earlier, I really don't want to see Lashley, McIntyre, and Corbin really like paired together too much longer. I think,
no, sir.
I think this could be the splitting point. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they can split them somehow, but I don't think they need to keep running together because these are probably, well, I don't know about Corbin, but Lashley and McIntyre definitely should be positioned as 2 of the top heels on Raw, maybe next to Brock Lesnar, and I'd like to see them kind of do something separate for a while. But I'm interested to see what happens on tomorrow on Raw. So 2.5 for me. What do you guys think?
I also gave it 2.5. Pretty much everything you said, I agree with.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
We're in lockstep tonight.
I just think McIntyre should be on it doing his own thing.
I agree. I totally agree.
I don't know why McIntyre. It kind of makes sense for Corbin, like, to be having people have his back.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
that slimy snake.
But I don't know. I just think McIntyre should be crushing people on his own.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. But
Mr. Galloway.
I'm just gonna go 2.5. There wasn't a lot to the match, to be honest.
Nope.
The going through the tables part, like Luke said, that was so cool to hear it just go whoosh. Yeah, it's awesome.
I gave it 2.25. It was a cool little hardcore match. Once again, they needed to bust out everything but the kitchen sink to beat Braun, but he still lost.
He didn't look weak in defeat.
He never does.
He didn't look weak in defeat because it took 3 very large men to
in fact, as they're all standing together flexing, besides Braun and Brock, they might be the 3 largest men in the company. Well, Big E, all right. Like, as far as, like, height and stature-wise. Dude, McIntyre, so I'm just always amazed by how huge Lashley is, right?
Yeah.
McIntyre's
a beast.
Looks almost identical in muscle.
And as far as
every single time I see him, he's just huge.
Well, and just height-wise, people, like, don't realize how tall Corbin is. Like, he's a tall dude.
Yes,
he's not as, like, beefy as Lashley or McIntyre, but he's like inch for inch with them too. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think. Did you give a star rating?
I gave it 2.25. So yeah, I mean it was a decent hardcore spots, cool. But you know, Braun needs to get something better.
Cameraman Colin, what did you think of this match?
I'd say incomplete till I see where it leads, because if this goes to like a 3 versus 3 at Mania, but I do think that they should have had somebody run in. They could have had a returning superstar, Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
It went too long, and it felt like somebody was going to run in, and then nothing ever happened.
Please give me a star rating, sir. Star rating.
2.5.
Thank you.
Okay, this could have been a good spot for Zayn and Owens to return. So
you two actually thought that Owens was going to run in.
I predicted an Owens run in because that his video that he cut in the pre-show just seemed like he was trying to swerve us. He swerved us by thinking he was swerving us. So I guess he wins.
I think you're just working yourself, pal.
I think I just worked myself.
Working yourself into a shoot, boy.
I think so.
Congratulations. You just played
After that match, Shane is being examined by trainers in the training room. Miz is apologetic, and he is fired up. He feels bad. He says he's better than what happened during the match, and then he just takes out a table of stuff. And just a good way to get across that you're upset, I suppose.
Shane says, go home.
He says, chill out, Mike.
He called him Mike, which is how you know stuff is getting heavy.
Mike, you go home, mister.
I liked this a lot, actually.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah.
Do you think Maurice calls him Mike, or do you think she calls him The Miz, you know?
And I feel like everyday life, it's Mike. In bed, it's The Miz.
So he said and like that implied it, and then you just went head first. Kind of like The Miz. All right, go ahead.
I really liked that little glimpse into the training room. I thought it was very interesting.
Do you think when things wrap up, it just ends with awesome?
I sincerely hope so. I hope so. Oh, up next, by the way, after that, my favorite part of the show, Lacey Evans comes out.
He came to play.
Gets halfway up the entrance ramp, turns around, and leaves. And that is it for Lacey Evans on this show. She got a payday, so good for her.
She catwalked it. It made no damn sense.
It was so weird.
It's the Emma thing.
It felt like a moment like, this isn't where I parked my car. Like, what was she doing there?
Yeah. Oh, this is not the restroom.
It's the Grandpa Simpsons walk in, walk out.
It was so weird. And, like, the announcers, like, didn't even really say anything about it. They're like, here comes Lacey Evans. And then she left. And they're like, time for our main event. And I was like, what? That's all you're going to get us?
You couldn't have had, like, a backstage segment in this time where she, like, walks up to a beat-up Charlotte and been like, well, you deserve that, and then walks away or something?
I'm guessing we'll have to wait until Raw to see why she did that, but I don't know. We'll see.
I totally envision, like, Jerry Lawler here. Like, hate to see her go, love to watch her leave. And then and then they move on. And then they move on. And that's it.
So that does lead in, oddly enough, to our main event of the evening, which is going to be an Elimination Chamber match.
Main event of the evening.
Thank you, Luke. Which is going to be a championship match between Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles, and Samoa Joe. Hey, thank you.
Dude, you should write a song.
I should. On his way to the ring. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the old timers Elimination Chamber.
We kind of were noticing that, like, everybody's 40 or close to 40 in this match.
Veterans Anonymous.
And this is not a geriatrics meeting because these guys can all still go, as we will see in this match. On his way to the ring, Daniel Bryan cuts a promo on the crowd and the company and just is mean and not very nice. He's fickle and everywhere. And then what I loved was he was saying stuff and then he got the what chant and he instantly grasped onto it and said, all you fans just cling onto the same phrase over and over again. Essentially called them stupid. I mean, not really what he did.
Which is hilarious. Because it's so, like, that was such an awesome thing to do on the fly, especially seeing as how ironic it was with the yes chant. Right?
Yeah, and he just was able to turn it around. And then Rowan, at this point, gets ejected from ringside. And the New Day was gone as well. Yeah, and that was going to lead into the match. Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan are going to start things off. Not very fair for Daniel Bryan to have to start this match.
I agree, actually.
But what are you going to do about it? Bryan is hesitant to get into the ring. He's kind of walking around the outside area
damn
here,
thing, my friend.
inside the chamber. Eventually he does. Joe kicks Bryan, rolls it into the ankle lock. Bryan gets to the ropes. Joe no-sells a big chop. I loved that.
Oh, yeah. Joe's backing down.
It was so good. Bryan tries escaping, but Joe isn't going to let it happen. He powerbombs Bryan into a Boston Crab, transitions that into the STF, transitions that into a crossface. Really, 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 really smooth stuff by Joe. Bryan is able to get out of it. He gets a basement drop kick to Joe's knees. Joe gets sent out onto the floor, padding outside of the ring. Bryan rams Joe into the corner of a pod. They trade huge chops, and then a big stiff series of kicks by Joe.
Oh, God. Stiff. Oh, God.
A chop knocked Bryan onto his ass. Woo, these chops were coming hot and heavy,
boy. It was like the greatest Royal Rumble.
So the one, with Rod Strong. Dude,
Roddy
Strong.
Whoa, Rod?
Rod,
you guys are that close?
Yeah, Rod.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, man.
Do you call AJ Styles Alan?
Is that actually what his first name is?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Alan Jones Styles.
Jones?
Yeah. That was John.
No, Jones is his last name. His name is Alan Jones.
Oh, okay.
Because back when fun sidebar. Back when I first got into TNA, I just started learning how to use the internet like a big man. I was looking up Alan Jones in Georgia trying to find his address so I could send him a letter, but I never did.
Okay. I was gonna ask, did you find it?
No, but I think I found the Big Boss Man, but I'm not sure.
Well, his address is 111 Heaven Way now.
Well, it wasn't back then.
Good Lord. Are you kidding me?
Oh, he's Wayne's Worlding over here.
Are you kidding me?
Pyramid Colin's getting carried away. Hey. I'll fire your ass.
Fire. You're fired. Oh, we're getting off the rails. Okay, hey, that chop that sent Daniel Bryan to his keister?
Yeah.
That sounded like a damn chair shot.
It sounded like a chair shot. It reverberated through the room and sent shivers down my spine. Those corner kicks by Bryan. Kofi comes in. There's a springboard takedown to Bryan. A frog splash to Joe's back as he's on his knees for a near fall. A diving knee to Kofi draped over the middle rope for a Bryan near fall. And then Joe kills Bryan with another chop.
Dead.
Bryan just crawls up onto a pod at this point and takes a break. Sits crisscross applesauce.
Hands in.
He's boasting to the crowd. And now Kofi gets chopped by Joe. Kofi gets up on the pod with Bryan at this point, and then Bryan like shimmies his way across to about halfway in between pods, kind of like on like the halfway point of the chamber. Joe's climbing now. He pulls Bryan down. Kofi knocks Joe down, and then Kofi trust falls from like near the top of the chamber wall onto Joe and Bryan below. Joe gets rolled back into the ring for a Kofi near fall. There's a spinning elbow to Bryan for a Kofi near fall. Snap suplex by Joe to Kofi for a near fall. And then Joe is just killing Bryan with more chops. We got hamburger meat on the chest for Bryan at this point. AJ Styles comes in next.
That's not very vegan.
No, it is not. It is not at all. He takes out Joe. Styles and Bryan trade strikes as a moonsault into a double DDT to Daniel and Kofi for double near falls. He does Daniel first and then Kofi. A forearm to Joe by Styles outside the ring. Bryan's climbing up the chamber again, but Styles catches him with the forearm. He got some Luke compared to Michael Jordan on that, which I enjoyed.
Dude, it was Jumpman.
It really was. It really was. I love your hippity hoppity references, Luke. Keep it coming. Back into the ring.
God, you're great.
Thanks. Kofi teases a Styles clash, but he fights out, and then Kofi's hit with an Ushi-Giroshi by Styles for a near fall.
Yeah.
Ooh, the ooey gooey?
The ooey gooey, yep. Joe rams Styles into the cage and then body drops him into the ring. Joe goes for the Kikino clutch, but Kofi reverses it into a near fall of his own, eventually breaks free. Styles out of nowhere flies in like a bullet with a phenomenal forearm, and Samoa Joe is the first man eliminated out of this match. As we were saying, I'm kind of okay with it because Joe doesn't really need... Like, he got to show off in this match.
He got to beat the poop out of
and
people.
he got to go to the locker room early and catch the first flight out of town, so good for him.
So, I get it, but how many times is Joe going to lose in a big match before the credibility's gone?
Never.
Hopefully never, because I don't think he's ever going to win a title.
Well, that's the thing, though, is so...
It just seems like he's always the first one eliminated. He's always losing, you know? Like, and
But when
then
he's
he'll
in
beat
there,
a Jeff Hardy, and then he'll go lose to the next tier.
but it's always because of something, you know?
like a finishing move.
Well, so he had the coquina clutch on, then all of a sudden here comes AJ.
He's always just kind of a victim of circumstance. A lot.
That's a brilliant way to put it.
However,
but he's whooping ass when he is.
He still has his heat, and so I think you can. I don't know if I ever seen winning the WWE Championship.
I did at first.
I certainly hope so, but I don't think he necessarily needs it either.
He deserves it.
Maybe a U.S. title run, I think, is more plausible. But we'll see.
He needs a strap of some sort.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think he definitely deserves it. We'll see what happens with Samoa Joe.
Anyway, Joe gone.
Hardy comes in next, goes right after AJ. There's a facebuster to Kofi by Hardy, a poetry in motion over Kofi to Daniel Bryan outside of the ring. AJ comes back in with the Pele kick. Hardy gets tossed into a pod. Kofi gets sent, not through a pod, but like just into it. Kofi gets sent into the chamber wall by Bryan. AJ gets up top, gets kicked off by Hardy, and then AJ gets laid on the top turnbuckle like vertically, and then Jeff Hardy climbs up on top of a pod and swantons AJ Styles
while he's on top of the turnbuckle,
which leads right into a single leg dropkick by Bryan, and Jeff Hardy is eliminated.
Hilarious because we all knew.
We all knew it. He's in this match to do a spot and go collect a paycheck.
The obsolete mule.
They're kind of giving Jeff Hardy. It's kind of like a thank you tour. He's getting to do the Hell in a Cell. He's getting to do the Elimination Chamber. He's getting to do all these big matches. Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, we all knew he had the least amount of chance of winning this match.
Yeah.
And we knew why he was there, and I'm glad they let him in it.
And it was, again, like, we keep saying, like, how many times are we going to be able to say that, wow, Jeff Hardy did something I've never seen? And he did it again in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, no, he's really having his final words. Oh, okay, cameraman Colin, I know you're a huge Jeff Hardy mark. You got anything to say about our man Jeff?
It was an amazing spot. I mean, yeah, he's at the end of his career, but it's cool to see him in it. But I felt like there just wasn't enough big spots for him. Like, I think he had a couple more in him for this match.
I actually agree with that.
I agree with that
that's
too.
definitely possible.
Good
He was gone a little bit early, but at any rate, he got the move he did get in was great. And thanks for playing, Jeff Hardy. So AJ gets put in a trio vote at this point by Daniel Bryan, gets basement drop kicked in that position, and then with AJ still in the trio row, Bryan puts Kofi up top and then goes for a superplex, but AJ German suplexes both of them down and then still is in the trio vote after that, and then Orton is in now after that, clotheslines Bryan, eventually AJ gets free, tosses Kofi into AJ, which is when he breaks free. There's a backslide for a Brian near fall, and then a nasty looking backbreaker by AJ. It was like so quick. Like he just threw him down onto his knee. I enjoyed that. AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm to Kofi, but eats an RKO instead out of nowhere by Randy Orton, and AJ is gone. We're down to Orton, Kofi, and Brian now, down to 3. Kofi roll up on Orton for a near fall, and then a top rope draping DDT from Orton to Kofi. Really good looking move there.
And at this point, we're getting very excited for Mr.
Yeah,
Kofi.
everyone's starting to get excited at this point, and
especially Jonathan.
And especially Jonathan, who was on the ground, just he wanted it so bad.
He was on the ground, then up, and then on the ground, and then convulsing,
and which definitely helped my enjoyment of this match, which was really good anyways. And then right after he hits that draping DDT, he turns around and hits a scoop power slam to Brian, who is running in to do something. Trouble in Paradise to Orton after that, and Orton is gone, and we're down to Kofi. And this was only at about the 20-minute point in this match. We're down to 2, and we got pretty much a really solid one-on-one match after this. So now it's down to Kofi and Brian. They trade blows. Kofi is just on fire. He wants more. He goes for the Trouble in Paradise but misses. And then Brian takes out Kofi's legs, hits the yes kicks. There's an SOS.
The fickle kicks.
Oh, the fickle kicks, sorry.
Fickle.
Hits the SOS for a near fall, does Kofi. And then
the crowd is feeling
The crowd
it.
is so hot at this point.
Please.
Yeah. What?
Please win.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Brian is working over Kofi in the corner. There's a double stomp by Kofi for a near fall. Kofi teases the Trouble in Paradise, but Daniel escapes the ring. Kofi sends Brian into the chamber wall over and over and over. And then Kofi goes for a bulldog and just gets sent super, super hard into the the plexiglass / steel part of the pod. Yeah. I think it was supposed to break. It did not.
It sounded incredible.
It sounded great. It looked great.
It felt great.
I probably didn't feel great, but I enjoyed it.
Well,
I enjoyed it. Back in the ring, a single leg drop kick, and everyone thinks the match is over, but Kofi kicks out for the nearest of near falls. Brian has this great expression on his face of just dejection, horror, and frustration, all wrapped into one Daniel Bryan package. It's great. Brian grabs Kofi by the hands and just stomps the shit out of his face for another near fall. Kofi hits the Trouble in Paradise. Daniel rolls his pinfall into a roll-up near fall of his own. Brian sinks in the label lock, kind of a modified version of it, but Kofi gets to the ropes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
There's a rope break here, and in the first match, Corey Graves made a good point of saying
no rope break.
There's no rope break in here. It's a no
disqualification
match.
Brian lets go. To be fair, the ref didn't force the break. Brian just let go.
They also said rope break. He made it to the ropes.
Also in the beginning of this match, it was a rope break.
Oh, was there?
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yep. But come on, WWE, you can do better than that.
Yeah, let's get some consistency of the rules here because that's a really good point.
Illogical.
The crowd was hot for the rope break, but still, there shouldn't technically be a rope break in a match like this. Brian goes up top, but Kofi crotches him. They fight their way back up on top of a pod. Kofi rams Daniel's head into the plexiglass, the wall of the chamber. Daniel returns the favor. Brian gets knocked down. Kofi goes for a big splash, but misses. Kofi gets hit with another single leg drop kick. This one finishes him off. Brian retains in 36.5 minutes.
So sad.
I need a cigarette after that match. It was super, super good. Up there for match of the year for me so far. Definitely in WWE's main roster. Really, really, really good match. I give it 4.5 stars. They made people believe that a title change could happen. Am I crazy to think this is a WrestleMania program for Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston?
I'm ready for that. I want that. I want that to be.
I think that could be where we're going.
I want that so bad.
Do it.
Yes,
I think we might be looking at it.
My turn?
Do it.
Go ahead.
Maybe all of this ibuprofen is hitting me a little too hard and I'm a little loopy, but I gave it 4 3/4. This is one of my top elimination chambers ever. I thoroughly loved the Kofi Kingston and everything before Kofi and Daniel, but then those two made magic.
Preach it, my brother.
They made magic.
Testify.
They made magic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. It was such a good main event.
Kofi just comes out of nowhere.
Honestly, out of all the matches I've seen so far this year, which really isn't a lot.
Okay.
It's probably my third favorite match I've seen this year.
Nice.
What were the other two? TNA?
Ricochet and Gargano.
Okay.
And then the Lucha Bros versus LAX. I probably would have given the first one a 5-star, and then the tag team match probably also 4 3/4.
I gave it 4 3/4 as well, Kyle. So awesome. Okay, Kofi Kingston is killing it.
He is.
He comes out of nowhere, has the gauntlet match where he's just amazing people. It's funny because he gets so sucked into the New Day gimmick, which having a lot of fun with, right? I mean, they have been for years. You forget how damn good he is besides being the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank spot guy.
Yeah, he's like a legitimately really, really good worker.
Yes, he's legitimately very, very good.
And the storytelling,
Yes,
particularly in
man.
the one-on-one segment between
Yes.
Brian and Kofi, was
We
phenomenal.
were on the edge of our seats and then off of our seats and then on our seats.
And I think the crowd reaction mimicked what we in our
Even
small
though-
environment were doing.
I gotta say this. I have to say this because it was pointed out. Every near fall, WWE, you do not have to show people of color to show that they're rooting for Kofi.
Oh, and I
Kingston.
forgot to mention that.
We are rooting for Kofi Kingston too.
On
okay?
that spot when Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise, gets his near fall, and Brian rolls, they cut away from Brian's roll up
mid a
and left
crucial point of the match.
left the people watching on TV wondering what was happening.
Kevin Dunn is in
Oh,
trouble.
hold on,
That
go
was
ahead.
rough.
Colin hit it.
To be fair, when they cut away, that girl was cute. I mean,
Shut up. Shut. Yeah, I'm cutting
We
you
cut
back
away
off.
from
You're
that?
cut back off. No, no, man.
Man.
No, yeah. But also, WWE, you're not being slick with these little camera angles, man.
They thought so.
You ain't slick.
The crowd was so into
Kevin.
it though, and this might have been this was an NXT level crowd for this match.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
It was amazing.
And,
Match of the night for me.
Before we get to the overall, Colin, stars.
4.5. I didn't think that they had enough big spots. I didn't think that they really utilized the cage like other matches did. And I felt like the crowd was so hot that it would have been honestly a perfect time for Kofi to win it. It really felt like the Yes Movement crowd from WrestleMania a few years back.
So-
He
but-
better win at WrestleMania now.
I was going to say, on the flip side of that, would it mean more to Kofi to win it at Elimination Chamber, or would it mean more to Kofi to win it at WrestleMania?
I'm not certain though, but this could be a WrestleMania program. Kofi,
Dude, even
could
if he loses it the
realistically-
next week, I
yeah.
don't care.
Kofi
he
could
needs it.
realistically win this title at WrestleMania. I think.
Yeah.
And I'm believing it.
With how hot this crowd was, I was honestly fully expecting there to be an audible. Where, because I always figured Brian was retained for
That's
the
a
kick.
big audible.
Yeah, that's. So what I do hope happens now, and again, my eyes will be glued to my television on SmackDown on Tuesday because I want to see what you can do with a Kofi Kingston Daniel Bryan rivalry, not just because the title's on the line, but make it personal, make it deep, have serious New Day come out for a little bit.
Hey, I even have an idea.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Hit it.
Daniel Bryan, they're talking about the next challenger, right? And Daniel Bryan goes, "Oh, let's have a triple threat match for my next challenger at Fastlane, the New Day. Not breaking them up. Not breaking them up.
Make the three of them fight for the number one contendership at WrestleMania.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah,
Or
that's something he would do.
Another thing is you could have Daniel face Big E at Fastlane and beat him, and then Kofi beat him at WrestleMania. You could have him be like Xavier Woods on the Go Home Show of SmackDown. Then you could have him beat Big E at Fastlane. That could be
Yeah,
the main event of
yeah.
Fastlane. And then you could have him lose to Kofi Kingston at SmackDown or at WrestleMania, and you have fun, bro.
God, you're brilliant.
Okay, how about this though?
Sign me up.
Let's build off of your idea of making the three New Day members fight for a number one contendership spot.
Do it.
Fantasy booking here. So Big E and Xavier and Kofi are in the ring. Kofi sticks out his finger, pokes Big E, who
Zach, I
falls
need you to
down.
stop right there. I need you to
Stop.
stop right
Don't-
there.
And
No,
Kofi
stop.
gets the
Stop,
pinfall.
stop.
The finger poke of doom 2, baby. Woo! Let's see.
Hey,
Stop.
hey. So I heard that you were going to apply for that creative writer position.
Should I not?
We're going to shred that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So the show goes off the air actually in a very touching way. The two other members of the New Day, being Kofi and Big E, rush the ring.
Xavier and Biggie.
Did I say Kofi?
You did.
I'm the stupidest man on earth.
That's why you're not going to apply for creative writing.
Seriously. So Xavier and Big E run out. They help Kofi up. The crowd is on their feet, giving Kofi a well-deserved standing ovation.
Huge.
And the three of them make their way down the entrance ramp and leave. And that's how the show goes off the air. And fellas, overnight, Kofi Kingston just became the number one SmackDown talent.
We
Yep.
believe. We believe.
Yeah, overnight, Kofi
We're
Kingston is now the
elite.
number one, probably hottest performer on SmackDown. And to think that he wasn't even in this match 2 weeks ago,
Hey.
and he came out of it as probably the top male
Can you give
talent
me?
on
Can you give me a Kofi Rocks chant right quick?
Kofi rocks. Kofi rocks. Kofi rocks. He does. He does rock.
So, all in all, what's your grade for the show?
All in all, there was a few forgettable things on the show, but it was very much. It wasn't a throwaway show. I will say that right off the bat. This potentially is planting the seeds, particularly on SmackDown, for a few really interesting things going into WrestleMania. Not everything worked particularly, but there was nothing bad, I don't think, on the show. Overall, I'm going to give it a B. I am very excited to watch both both Raw and SmackDown this week, and that's not something I can say after every pay-per-view, but I am thoroughly intrigued to see what happens, and that Elimination Chamber match, the men's chamber match, so good, guys. Go watch that match.
Watch it.
Just like my math quarter last grade, we're giving it a B.
Nice, dude.
I enjoy it. I would have been probably a mid-C until that last match, and that last match really, really just boosted my ass. I loved it.
It did what?
I'm just making things up on the fly.
He said boosted his ass.
Yeah,
he didn't want to
boosted my
repeat
ass.
it, but that's what he said.
I've had too much to leave,
I
man.
tell you what, this boosted my ass as well, baby. I gave this a B as well. I mean, 4 3/4 for that main event. The other Elimination Chamber, I think I gave it 3.5, and then of course we're counting the pre-show match, even though they don't give it any damn respect. That was a 4-star match. So yeah, I mean, really good matches. I would say thus far this year, one of the weaker WWE pay-per-views.
To be fair, it's only February.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it. It's a real hot take. Oh no, Colin's got shit to talk. Go ahead.
There's been like 2 pay-per-views so far.
Yeah, this was the second main
that's
match.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, God,
Dude,
that's...
Thanks. Hey, I'm making a hot take. Okay.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
Sorry,
Leave me
Luke, I'm
alone.
sorry.
It's one of the weak.
It's a rolling 12
Jesus Christ, that was terrible.
rolling 12
We
months.
got a real
cycle.
Sophie's Choice here.
Woo! Woo! Okay. Yeah. I gave it a B. I'm done. I'm done with this.
So, are you guys ready to get a little sad for this next show?
I'm ready to get a little happy in this next show. What are you talking about?
It's gonna bring
Nostalgia.
It's such good nostalgia,
Bittersweet.
but it's gonna bring a little tear shed, I bet. We're doing No Way Out 2004, and I think, this. I wanted to do a show to appreciate Eddie Guerrero, and I think
This is the show.
I think this is the
to do
show
it.
to do to appreciate Eddie Guerrero, because
I agree.
he is so damn good, and this is the show where he won the title from Brock Lesnar, and I think this
Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, everybody knows.
I'm jerking your chain. I'm boosting your ass.
So it's kind of a great show, and a little bit of sadness involved.
Yeah.
So Eddie and Brock is your main event. You got a triple threat match is the co-main to determine the number 1 contender for WrestleMania 20, and it's Kurt Angle versus John Cena versus Big Show. And we got a cruiserweight title match between Chavo Guerrero and Rey Mysterio.
Ooh,
That boosts my ass thinking about that.
Yeah. This one's gonna really boost your ass. We got Hardcore Holly versus Rhino, and then we got the world's greatest tag team versus my favorite tag team of all time, the APA. And then we have could be a match of the year contender, Jamie Noble versus Nydia.
Hey, isn't this the match where Jamie? Well, I listened to Pritchard, so it is. This is when Jamie Noble's blindfolded in this match.
Yeah, that is. And then we got
5 stars.
Then we got a handicap match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I don't know why they do this shit, because they did it tonight. More people fighting for a title than needs to be. We have the Basham Brothers and Shaniqua versus Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty. Could have just brought Grandmaster Sexay back and had a 6-man tag, but okay.
All right. Well, I tell you what, after all those announcements, consider my ass boosted.
My ass is boosted for next week's show.
There might be a T-shirt for this coming.
Let's get our asses
boost
boosted.
my
Cameraman
ass.
Colin, what do you have to say?
Oh yeah, hit it.
I'd like to say that, because I think the pay-per-view went 3 hours and 20 minutes, there were the main, or the pre-show match should have been on the main show.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%.
But also, to that point, man, this was the perfect time limit
This
for this
was
pay-per-view.
refreshing.
They got a lot of story stuff in and didn't feel bloated. Like, I came away from the Royal Rumble questioning my sanity.
I'm not tired. I'm not tired. right now.
I'm ready to go right now. This was a compact little show. It boosted my ass all over the place. It was the perfect amount of time. And then I wanted to mention one thing. We are not trying to mimic Pritchard's podcast schedule. It's just happening. We have our schedules in place months in advance.
With St. Valentine's Day, that's due to the historical significance, and February, Valentine's Day, and I think it was 20 years ago, so that was the significance as well.
And No Way Out just kind of is a weird thing. It was the February pay-per-view in 2004.
Yeah,
and
call us swagger jackers if you want, but I guarantee that
It was
Bruce
on our
Pritchard-
schedule
that
first.
Bruce Pritchard's not talking about getting his ass boosted.
That's right.
only exclusive
You're
content.
only going to
you're
hear
gonna
about ass boosting on Big Boys and Body Slams.
And we can't wait to boost your ass next week, everybody.
Yeah.
Too sweet, me boys. Thank you, cameraman Colin.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys. Had fun.
Have
Love you.
a good night.
Love you.
I don't know where boosted my ass came